Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Rosh, and in this episode we're going to discuss the topic of homework and homework for your children who have dyslexia. That is the focus, and let's get on with the video. Why do children get given homework? Let's determine that for a few minutes and discuss that for a few minutes, because it is very important to be aware of what the goals and what the reasons are for homework. Homework is typically given so that students can achieve syllabus content mastery. Homework is not meant to keep your children occupied or give them something to do while you do something else. Homework is really all about mastery and providing ample practice so that they can master the content laid out by the syllabus. If we establish and we understand that as being the goal of homework, then it puts into perspective some of the things that we can do to make homework time a more pleasant and positive experience for both the parents and the children concerned. Because very often parents tell me that, oh God, homework is the worst time of day. My child never wants to do homework. My child starts throwing a tantrum when it's time to do homework. And rightfully so, because we don't understand what the reason behind homework is, nor do the children. And it's very important for us as the adults to be aware of the goals of homework. The first issue I would like to discuss about homework is the setting up of the homework routine. Now, when we talk about routine, that means this is something that you're going to be doing every day. So it needs some thought and some consideration. When would a good time to do homework be? It's not right after the child comes home from school and drops their bag and drops their shoes. That's really the worst time to sit down and think about homework. It is better to give the child some downtime. Let them have a bit of a play, give them a snack, and once they're calm and they've got all that excess energy out of them from the school day, they will be in a position to sit down and address and attack the homework. Homework routines are supremely important and should form one of the routines in your child's daily life. So on days there is no homework, that homework time should be spent doing revision or additional practice or something that resembles homework. Is that fair? Because if it doesn't become a routine, then the children don't know what to expect. And when children don't know what to expect and they can't predict what is next, then you have problems. Children love to have that sense of order. They need to know what happens first, what happens second, what happens third. And once you put that routine in place, life becomes a lot easier for both the parents and the children. And this is not just true about homework. This is also true about discipline. This is true about all of the other things that you expect your child to do and accomplish in a day. But today, the focus is going to be on homework. The next thing we need to discuss about homework is the environment. Now, what kind of environment are you going to set up for homework to happen and happen in the most conducive and positive way? First of all, organization. Decide on where you're going to sit down each day to do homework. It needs to be one consistent space. There is no changing. Give it some thought, figure it out. Today you sit at the table, tomorrow you sit on the floor, day after you sit in front of the TV. That's not going to work out. Have a designated space that is specifically meant for homework. If you have more than one child, then each child should have their own homework space. Organize the table. Make sure they put their pencil case out. They have the books that they need out, all in neat piles, so that there's no rushing around and there's no confusion and disruption during homework time. Get everything organized, put it out on the table, and that can be part of the routine. Get your books out, get your pencil case out, and now we're going to sit down to do homework. If anyone needs to use the loo, please go do it now before we start. If you need a drink of water, please do it now before we start, so that there's no interruption. And this brings a sense of calm. And this is very, very important, the setting up of the environment. It's very easy to overlook this because it doesn't seem like it's so important. But it is these little things that require attention on the part of the adult or from the parent. These are the little things that will make homework time so much more positive an experience for both parent and child. So please don't overlook this and decide how it's going to look, what it's going to look like. And the instructions should be similar. Take your books out, get your pencil case out, loo time, water time, sort it all out before you start the homework. Now, moving on to the next, more important issues and tricks and tips. Understand that homework is not about quantity, but rather quality. Now, if your child has dyslexia or any other form of learning difficulties, chances are the teacher in the school realizes that your child is struggling. So open a communication channel that is positive, that is open-ended with the teachers. Explain to the teacher about how your child can't cope with the sheer quantity of work, but you would rather focus on the quality of work. Get their feedback. Break down the homework into manageable chunks. So if there have been 20 sums given for homework, maybe focus on 5 sums for your child. Do those well. Achieve mastery in those 5. Because what you're looking is through repetition to build mastery. So it's not about the quantity of work done, it's rather the quality of work. Maybe over the weekend when you're short on materials, you could use the work from the week, the additional content that you did not go through, to provide more repetition, more practice. Because like I said, practice leads to perfection. Perfection is mastery, and that's what we're looking to do through homework. It doesn't have to be something not done or ignored completely, but you can do it over time. It's not a big deal. If your child is unable to write an essay all in one day, take 2 days. Today we'll sit down and plan it, we'll discuss it, and tomorrow we'll sit down and write it. And that's okay, because the ultimate goal is mastery. It's not about quantity. And it's certainly not about this next point, rushing. Never rush a child. Whether it's homework or an activity that they're doing, never ever rush a child. Children need to work at their own pace. And sometimes that pace will differ from one child to the next. And it will certainly differ from one of your own children to one of the others. So don't expect that child A can do this in this span of time, therefore child B should be able to do this as well. No, that's not the case. That is just so not the case. And do not compare your children. Observe your child instead. Focus on your child's strengths. Observe your child to see how long a child can stay on task. For instance, during reading. Now, be observant. Write it down if you have to. Okay, child A can concentrate for say 10 minutes on reading before they lose interest and they lose attention. But this 10 minutes might differ when it comes to numeracy work. The child might actually enjoy numeracy work more and therefore be able to concentrate for a longer period of time on the numeracy assignment. So that might look like it's 15 minutes. Write it down. Be aware of it. So just before that 10-minute mark or that 15-minute mark comes up, give your child a rest break. And make sure those rest breaks involve movement, because children can only break from a task when movement is involved. So it could be a water break. Would you like to use the loo now? Okay, go and use the loo now. Would you like to have some water now? You can have some water. Or get me a glass of water, please. But give the child some movement. So getting up from that chair, going to do the task, accomplishing it, and coming back in itself is a break. It gives the mind a break and something else to focus on that is not so intense. So rest breaks are also crucial when doing homework with children who have dyslexia. And this is true of all ages of children, whether they're 8 years old or 10 years old or 15 years old. As long as they have a learning difficulty, these children need to have these rest breaks in between so that they can cope. Also, another important tip is change up the work. If you find that your child is losing interest in something or struggling too much, stop that work. Bring something else in that you know is less challenging for them. Switch it up. You might decide that, okay, today they can't do 10 minutes of reading, but they can do 7 minutes of reading. Say, all right, let's stop here. Let's go on and do some numeracy work or some science work or some social studies work, whatever it may be. Change it up. Do something that is more discussion-based or more hands-on instead of language-heavy. Switching it up keeps interest and motivation levels high. And that's really what you want to do. You want to build motivation. And homework should transition from requiring you to sit there 100% of the time to you being able to say, giving the child that independence to work on an assignment and a task by themselves. So you must have that goal of working up from you sitting there and providing 100% support to you sitting there and providing 75% support. So that means this frees up your time to work with another child or to go do something else. And you can say something like, look, I think you're doing very well. I'll let you get on with it. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Come back and check. And then gradually that might look like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And soon you will find that your child achieves independence. And while achieving mastery in their homework, their confidence will increase and motivation levels will increase. If you can follow these steps, I think you will be very, very successful during homework time. It's a skill that needs to be built over time, even for you. So take your time with it, get comfortable with it. But now that you have the basic tips and tricks and rules to follow, I think it'll become easier, because a lot of these things are easily overlooked because we as parents tend to be busy. We as teachers tend to be busy. Most of us are working and we come home after a full day of work. We are tired ourselves. We are stressed ourselves. And bear in mind that being calm when you approach and being patient during homework time is also very, very important. If you find yourself being a little bit stressed out, then delay homework time by about 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Do some breathing exercises, calm yourself down, have a coffee, have a tea, whatever it is that works for you. Just take a few minutes out, calm yourself down, because don't forget, children, while they may have learning difficulties such as dyslexia, there is nothing wrong with their emotional development. They are able to pick up on social cues. They are able to pick up on your stresses. They are able to pick up on your vibe. People innately have that ability. So don't forget that your child is watching, and they are quite smart. When they know that you're feeling a little stressed, they know which buttons to push as well. You don't want to get into that situation where you get stressed and you are going into the whole situation stressed. So therefore, to get triggered would be so much easier, and then it is going to turn into such a negative experience. What you want is a calm, positive experience. So being aware of all of these little things in combination will lead to a more positive experience during homework time. I hope you have found this content helpful. If you have, please like, subscribe, and if you know any other parent who is struggling with their children, please do share this content with them. If you have any questions or you require more clarification, please leave them in the comments down below, and I will attempt to answer and address every one of those questions and concerns you may have as a parent. Even if it's something as simple as choice of words to use, happy to do that for you. Just leave them in the comments below. I will make sure I tailor it. Also be aware and let me know the situation and context within which you face these challenges, so that I'll be able to customize that for you. And if need be, put it up in another video so that it benefits all parents, not just one parent. So until the next video, take care, stay safe. I'll see you soon.